If you follow my recipe, you'll make yourself a nice veggie burger. Yeah, I actually made two. I have this nice carrot. I peeled it. I'm gonna get to chopping it up. I have a stalk of celery. I cleaned it. I'm gonna get to chopping it up. 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna crush them. Got this onion. I'm gonna maybe use half of it. And I had these mushrooms here. White one and what is it, baby portobello? I forget. I'm gonna add those to the mix. And I have some quinoa, very nice grain. I'm going to cook up about a cup or so of it. Yeah, about a cup. Quinoa, you just follow the instructions on your package. Okay. I was gonna say, to clean up my vegetables, I love to use this. I've discovered this brand. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I would pay you to try it. Alright? Anyway, the last thing you're gonna need, which if you're gonna be like super vegan about this, you're gonna want to substitute. I'm gonna add some egg white to bind everything together. If you don't want to use egg white, you can actually use, so there's so many substitutes. For example, some people make an egg white substitute out of flaxseed. They like ground it up and put water in it, and it'll get like gelatinous. And you know, you can find egg white substitutes all over the place. Alright, so let me start getting everything together here. Oh, you may need some olive oil too, but we'll deal with that in a moment. My memory is failing me, so we're also going to use a can of black beans. I'm using canned because it's easier for me right now. I'm going to use the whole can, and of course we need a nice food processor. Alright, let's continue chopping. Alright, so here's my beans. I've rinsed them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook them up a little bit. I'm not going to add salt or anything. It's just, I'm going to bring them to a boil. Because when you boil beans, it reduces that thing. I forget the name of the component, the chemical in it that gives people, put it this way, stomach problems. An explosive problem. So I'm just going to cook them for a couple of minutes. I'm going to let it come to a boil and then simmer it for, you know, not long, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. And my quinoa is coming up nicely. So I'm going to return to chopping up the rest of the vegetables. Alright, so the beans are still going. The quinoa has about 9 minutes left. You know, quinoa kind of cooks up like rice. Matter of fact, let me turn the heat down a little. It's fine. So here's my processor, my food processor. Here's my veggies nice and cut up. And I'm just gonna get these ready. Put them in here. Garlic, onion, carrot, celery, mushrooms. If I had time, I would have put in broccoli. Broccoli that I would have cooked it up a little bit first, blanched it. I'm going to put a dash of olive oil. And I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. If you want other stuff like sazon or whatever, you want to kind of make a Puerto Rican version, that's fine. The salt and pepper is to taste though. And I'm going to wait for the beans to be done. Because again, I'm boiling the beans not to cook them. I'm boiling them to remove what causes a gaseous or gaseous reaction in people. Alright, I'm just going to let this sit here, and when the beans are ready, I'll show you. Alright, I moved my food processor to this side because I need more real estate. Alright, so the beans are done. I let them boil for a couple of minutes. And I'm going to drain them. The quinoa has another 5 minutes to go. So I'm just going to drain the habichuelas, or if you're Mexicano, you say frijoles, whatever. Actually, you know, I should know better. That bean water, I could have saved it for other stuff, but whatever. Alright, I'm gonna let them cool off here. Alright, oh, I realized my camera didn't catch me draining it, but who cares? You know what it looks like to drain beans. Let's get the quinoa ready. Alright people, so there we go. The beans have cooled off. My quinoa is ready. So into the food processor, I'm just gonna add the beans. And you can use black beans, you can use kidney beans, you can use lung beans, whatever you want. And my quinoa cooked up nice. This is about a cup of quinoa. I should use a spoon and not a fork. But because it's me and I'm special, where's my spoon? Here we go. Ah, this food processor is filled to the brim, but I want to make enough mixture so that I can make a couple and freeze some for other occasions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-season it because some pepper, I'm from Brooklyn, right? Pepper, shut up, and some salt. And again, whatever else you want, if you want to make this more, you know, flavor to your liking with adobo or something, you go ahead and do it. I should let the quinoa cool off, but you know what? And another thing you could do is, instead of doing what I'm doing, mixing it within the food processor apparatus, you could put in bits of the vegetables, bits of the beans, bits of the quinoa. You can also use lentils. You know, different bits of each ingredient, that way you don't have to deal with the mess that I made. Alright, I'm going to add a little more olive oil. And when we process this, I'm going to transfer this to a bowl, and we're going to work with the egg whites. If you don't want to use egg whites, again, there's substitutes all over the place. Let's lock that bad boy up. Ultimate, baby. The heat from the quinoa is what you see here. Let me let it vent a little bit. Alright, I'm going to keep pulsing. Oh look, steam is coming out of it. That looks like a Hollywood movie. Anyway, I'm going to keep pulsing it and I'll show you what it should look like. Alright, so let's take a look. I pulsed it a cup, you know, not too long. Now, I like this thickness, and I like that you can see some of the vegetables still. But wait, is this camera focused? You know, maybe other people don't like it that way. And I've had veggie burgers from certain places where you can see chunks of the vegetables still. See, there's a chunk of the carrot. If you don't like that, well, you just keep pulsing it until it's to the consistency that you like. Alright? So, I mean, I like it this way, but for the sake of appeasing certain peoples, are going to be like, ugh, I'm going to pulse it a little longer. See, look. You can see some of the onion, some of the celery in there. But this is fine to me. With this, I can make my patties. Like I said, I try to please everyone, so let's pulse it a little longer. Alright, people. So here's our mix. Right? And what I can do with this, I can work from this and actually make patties out of this. But what I want to do is I want to add something else to bind it a little bit. So that's where the egg whites come in. I also, you're gonna need like plastic wrap, or I use sandwich bags, so that as you make each patty, you know, you put them in a bag and you keep it in the freezer until you're ready to cook it, or if you're going to cook it today, you're going to put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes or so. That'll help it bind a little further. Okay, next step. Okay, here's where my friends who are super vegan are going to hate me. But if you're vegetarian, you're not going to hate me. I'm going to use egg white. Okay, if you do not like egg white, again, what you can use is flaxseed oil or applesauce. I forgot about applesauce. People use applesauce as an egg white substitute. Flaxseed, you take some flaxseed, you ground it up, and you put it in like a bowl with some water, and you just let it soak. But for the purposes of what I'm doing here, I'm going to use egg white. Oop, that's alright. A little of the yolk got in there, it's alright. Easy. Alright, so now I'm going to take, or if you don't want to use any other binder, if you want to keep it like this, that's fine too. You just, you know, make patties, freeze them a little bit for at least 15 minutes, and you'll have a good time. Alright, so I'm going to take some of my mix out, put it right in there, in a separate bowl or apparatus of sorts, and I'm going to put in my egg white, mix it up. More. Those are 2 small eggs. You may want to keep one hand clean while you do this. And again, applesauce or flaxseed oil, ground flax seeds soaked in water will also make a nice binder. When I say binder, I don't mean notebook. And 2 small egg whites should be enough. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, this is about half of that mixture. I overestimated how much mixture I need, but that's fine. Wash up here. What's the next step? Let me see something. Let me put a little more. It's kind of like handling ground beef. You can't tell the difference. Well, I can tell the difference, but I'm being nice. Now what? Well, you're going to use this. You can let it cool off a little bit if you want, but since I'm in a rush, I'm not going to let it cool off. Get more of this in there. Okay. You just want to work it until you kind of feel like fold it over. Put a little more until it feels like the consistency can, yeah, I think this is it. So you're going to keep adding until you feel like the consistency is such where you can make the patties. Let me get another plate ready. Alright, now I'm going to make my patties. And easy, it's just like handling ground beef or turkey. Okay? I'm going to separate it with plastic. So that's my first patty, and what I'm going to do to that patty is I'm gonna put them in the fridge for well, if I put it in the freezer to put away, you're gonna leave it as long as you want, but I want to have this within the next half hour or so. So I'm gonna put it there for maybe 15 minutes. All right, and then you just keep making patties. This one has more carrot in it. Alright, so I'm going to stop at these two. Put them in the freezer for 15 minutes at least. Now the rest of this mixture I could put in the fridge. Remember, it has egg in it, so you want to use it. You know, don't keep it too long. Maybe you want to use it by the end of the week. And I also want to clean out whatever's left under the blade of my food processor. But of course, the most sane thing would be to remove the blade, right? That will make more sense. Come on, boys. All right. Oh, and even adding more of this to it, it's solidified even more. So if I wanted to, I could continue making patties with this. But I'm gonna stop at 2 because that's all I want for today. All right, I'm gonna cover this and save this for, let's say, the middle of the week. Or I can make the patties now, keep them in the freezer, and I'll have veggie burgers to make later. Whatever you want, however you want to work it. Alright. Alright people, you gotta forgive me because while I was doing this, I was on the phone. You didn't see me, I was on the phone, and I was taking care of 3 other things at once. So, what we're gonna do is, I made some patties and I froze them. But I kind of did this in reverse. When you're done with the mixture, right, you don't make your patties. You put it in the fridge, let it congeal a little bit, take it out, and then you make them into patties and then put them onto the grill. So I kind of did it in reverse. Well, thankfully, I only made 2 patties and froze them, but I have the mix here. So we are going to just leave the ones that are in the freezer, and I'm going to work out of here. Alright people, so here's my workstation, and here is the mixture that we made. And like I told you before, I was on the phone and taking care of a couple other things at the same time, so I had a brain burp. So you'll see that this is kind of like the consistency of ground beef. So I'm gonna make 2 or 3 patties. And the other thing you can do, you can use the rest of the mixture to create patties that you'll cook in the future, and just save them in like a Ziploc bag or, you know, plastic or Tupperware. You can freeze these bad boys, and you'll have a veggie burger for another time. And you'll see as you work it, it kind of has that consistency. See, here it is, a big chunk of carrot. Like I told you before, I like to get chunks of vegetables in my veggie burger, but if you don't like that, you just, you know, process it a little longer. Whoa! And the Tupperware went to the floor, which is fine because we're done. Alright, so I'm going to take about 2 of these, cook them, the rest I'm going to freeze them. Alright. One in the sandwich bag. Put
another in a sandwich bag. Okay. You know, maybe I'll make 3. When I make veggie burgers, like 1 or 2 of them doesn't do it for me. Or maybe I'll just have a regular burger later. I don't know. Alright. Okay, let's continue. Alright, I just want to show you. These are the ones that are frozen. Looks like a beef burger with, you know, carrots in it. This one has a little more chunky carrots in it. And these are the ones that I just made out of the mix that was in the refrigerator. So I told you I kind of did things in reverse, but you know what I'm thinking? I'm going to make one of these and make one of the ones that I freshly made. Although this is fresh too, it's just this has been in the freezer for some time. I'm going to see which one comes out better. I'm going to put this one away. And the reason why it's so black, because remember, I use black beans. You can use red beans, you can use garbanzo beans. There's people that use lentils. Just whatever kind of bean or legume that you want to use is fine. Use that word in your next conversation with your mama. Legumes. Alright, and I'm going to get some condiments ready. Alright people, so we have my pan here. I got it on medium-low heat. I got my buns, I got lettuce on the side, I got a bunch of stuff ready. Going ready on the side. I put a little, that's actually avocado oil. For those who want to be fancy. A little avocado oil. And I want to get this to frying heat, baby. And what I like to do when I make a veggie boiga, I don't let it sit too long on one side because it's not like beef or turkey. You know what I mean? It'll, you know, burn nicely if you don't watch it, if you don't mother it. Sorry, I'm just looking for my this here brush. I'm gonna let this come up to heat. Yeah, you know, a minute and a half. I mean, you know, while this is coming up, I can hear it popping already. Let's see. Yeah, almost. I'm gonna give it another 30 seconds. Alright, so let's continue. Let's put our patties in. This is the frozen one that I froze. It was actually, I'll usually freeze it for like 15 minutes. That bad boy was in a freezer for like an hour. So we're gonna experiment with the one that's frozen and the one that is not. The one that is not, I feel like it's gonna discombobulate, but let's see. And remember too that these are not vegan, these are vegetarian. I put eggs in it. So you gotta cook them out. Alright, I'm not gonna let you watch me, you know, cook this for like the duration. I'm just gonna time it and I'll tell you how long it takes me. Alright, so it's been about 2 minutes and I kind of been moving them around in the pan. This is a nice non-stick, and I accidentally dropped the spatula on this one, so I don't know if it's gonna give me trouble when I flip it, but let's see. 2 minutes one side. Not bad, didn't break off too much. when I was moving them around, I kind of went like that with the spatula and cut that end off. Okay, so now let's go to the other guy who I did not let into the freezer, so I don't know if he's gonna give us trouble. Ooh, you hear the police? They're gonna arrest me for not cooking this right. Not too bad. Not too bad, but I would still say that the one you let freeze is gonna come out better. Its consistency is a little better. See here, like I said, this part broke off because I dropped the spatula on it. But all right, it's fine. We can deal with it. All right. So maybe we'll let it go another 2 minutes on that side. We get the buns ready. Here I'm just brushing the tops with a little oil. All right, so it's been about 3 minutes. I think I can serve it. Here is veggie burger number 1. Man, that lettuce is out of control. And here is veggie burger number 2. I think the second one is better. I'm gonna give them a taste, a focus. All right, so let's give it a taste. I do recall I'm missing some ingredient. I can't remember what it is to help it bind a little better. I mean, this didn't do too bad. It binded pretty well. But I recall doing it better in the past. But, all right, it looks good. I got, these buns have ketchup, a tiny bit of mayo, and mustard. There's lettuce, tomatoes, and onions here. Let's give it a bite. It smells good. Like the onions and garlic make it, you know. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Got some veggie burger come out on the side here. Let me try the other one. It should basically be the same thing. One is just one that I froze, and the other one I worked with the mix straight out of the fridge. Look at that. It's like the real thing. Both are very good. All right. That is my veggie burger recipe. It's not vegan. For it to be vegan, you have to skip the eggs. Pardon me, my mouth is full. And other times I put in broccoli, I put in bell pepper. It's, you know, whatever veggies you want to throw together into a processor. And the quinoa really makes it delicious. Anyway,